Hello class, my name is Marcus Enos and today I will be discussing my Aesop fable, The Flies and the Honey Pot. I will first start off by discussing the moral of the story. The moral of the story is pleasure bought with pain hurts. And the moral of the story can relate to a time in my life when I was in the 7th grade and when I bullied someone because it brought me pleasure and because I did not like that person. Needless to say, I would soon come to regret this decision. I would say that the development of the story was created from an adverse and difficult time in my life. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many of us have made a mistake where we did not realize the consequences of it? I'm sure many of us can relate to this question, as it is something I have asked myself many times, and I'm sure you guys have as well. Like most of us humans, I am sure most of us have done something that we thought was good but turned out to have very bad consequences. As someone who has become a Christian and learned to follow God these past few years, this is a mistake I have certainly regretted and looked back on as well. My goal today is to share my chosen fable and its theme and how it relates to my 7th grade middle school story. I feel like I should tell this story to you people because it is an important life lesson. I will first clearly explain the fable and its meaning and how this relates to my real life story. So let's take some time to explore the fable, the flies and the honey pot. In the Aesop fable, the flies think that the honey pot looks very good, and so they fly toward it. But little did they know that this good thing, it could lead to disaster. And the flies weren't thinking about their consequences beforehand. So as a result, they weren't thinking about their choices and they got stuck in the honey pot. This can relate to us as we often do this ourselves, where we don't think about the consequences of a choice and the effects that it might have on us. The flies did the same thing in the story, where they wanted to go towards the honey pot because they were thinking it was good. But when they realized what they had done, they called themselves foolish, and the moral of the story can certainly apply here. Next, I will tell you all a real-life story that relates to the moral of this fable. It was during a Friday at my old middle school in 7th grade. I got out a paper and wrote something that I didn't like about a girl. I thought this was a good thing because it pleased me and would help me take out my frustration, but I was very wrong. And when I did this and saw her reaction, I began to cry. I didn't realize how this would affect her or me. It was an in the moment type of thing, and I was not thinking correctly. I certainly wish this is a mistake that I could reverse if I could. I hurt someone, which is something I do not want to ever do. And when I saw her crying, I realized what I had done. It was very sad to know what I had just done. Bullying people is something that I never want to do, and yet I did that same thing on that very Friday sunny day. I did not care about the consequences that day, as I just wanted to know if she was okay. Honestly, after what I had done, I did not care. I did not care about the consequences. I wanted to just apologize to her and to let her know what I did was wrong. I am thankful that today I have had my eyes opened by God, and now I see the light. I learn now not to trust the things that I think are good for myself, because whenever I do that, it always leads to disaster. It is something now I try to avoid. God's way is the best way, and I need to listen to His voice and truly ask, am I doing the right thing? As much as I regret this mistake, it has certainly taught me a very useful life lesson that I think can apply to all of us. With telling this story and explaining this fable, I hope I have taught you guys something important and a few life lessons as well. Throughout my speech, I have summarized to you guys the consequences of my of my life decision and the fly's decision to land in the honey pot, and how this applies to any of us. I also applied the meaning and moral of this fable to a real life story. In conclusion, I hope this is a story that you guys can all remember and is something that does not get repeated by you or me. If you get tempted to do this, just remember what happened to the flies in the honey pot. Thank you guys for the opportunity to share this speech. I hope you guys have a good day, and I hope you learned something from this. Thank you guys.